You have walked past it 100 times. The mound by the mailbox, the beetle in the hay bale, the fuzzy little thing on the porch rail your grandkids wanted to pet. Nothing ever happened to you. That is exactly the problem. Between 2011 and 2021, hornets, wasps, and bees killed 788 people in this country. That is the CDC's count, not mine. 84% of the dead were men. Most were doing something ordinary: mowing, dragging brush, standing in their own backyard. These are 10 insects in Texas that the people who study insects will not touch with a bare hand. This list does not start with the bugs. It starts with an agreement. Texas built its reputation on big danger: rattlesnakes, feral hogs, hurricanes off the Gulf. You can see all of those coming from across the road, and there is comfort in that, because a danger you can see is a danger you get to decide about. What follows is the other Texas, the one that fits under a leaf. One rule: no spiders, no scorpions, no ticks. Those are not insects, and they do not get a number. Number 10. The giant water bug. You wade into the stock tank barefoot, the way you have since you were 9 years old, and you cannot see your feet. Texans call it the toe biter, and it is the largest true bug in North America. It takes fish, frogs, and small snakes with 2 front legs shaped like pliers, drives a beak in, and pumps in a saliva that digests them from the inside while they are still alive. People who get bitten say it is the worst thing an insect has ever done to them. And when you lift one out of the water, it does something almost polite. It plays dead. It goes limp in your palm and waits. The Mississippi State Extension Service notes exactly who gets bitten most: entomologists and children. The only 2 groups left who still pick things up. Number 10 is not hunting you. It lies at the bottom of the water you swim in and lets you make the decision for both of you. Number 9. The blister beetle. There is a beetle in Texas that has never bitten a human being and has killed animals worth more than your truck. Blister beetles swarm blooming alfalfa. The hay gets cut, the crimper crushes them into the windrow, and they end up baled and stacked in your barn. The chemical inside them is cantharidin, and it does not break down when the beetle dies. Not after a year in storage. Not ever. The Texas A&M Veterinary Medical Diagnostic Laboratory puts it plainly: 4 grams of dried beetles can carry a fatal dose for a horse. 4 grams is a pinch, and because they cluster, one flake off a bale holds hundreds, while the flake from the other end holds none. The horse blisters from the mouth down through the gut into the bladder. It urinates blood. It stands at the trough, dipping its muzzle again and again, because its mouth is on fire. You check hay for mold. You check it for dust. Nobody opens a flake looking for beetles. Number 9 never touches you. It waits in the hay for something you love to eat it. Number 8. The red harvester ant. You know the mound. Bare orange dirt scraped clean of every living plant. A circle in the pasture, often 12 feet across. The sting takes a minute or 2 to arrive, which is what fools people. Then it climbs. It moves through the lymph system, so the pain travels up the arm, settles under the armpit, and runs for hours. The skin around the puncture sweats on its own. The hair stands up. Researchers studying the genus Pogonomyrmex found it carries the most lethal venom of any insect ever tested on mammals. One animal eats them anyway. The Texas horned lizard, the horny toad you chased as a boy, is almost entirely harvester ants by diet, because its blood carries a factor that cancels the venom outright. The harvester ants are vanishing across Texas. So, quietly, are the horned lizards. Number 8 belongs to a lizard we are losing. And the thing taking it from him is number 4 on this list. Number 7. The tarantula hawk. Out past the mesquite, there is a wasp 2 inches long, blue-black with orange wings, that paralyzes tarantulas, drags them down into a burrow alive, and lays 1 egg on them. Justin Schmidt, the entomologist who let insects sting him for science and ranked the results, gave this wasp a 4 out of 4. The top of his scale, His published advice to anyone stung is to lie down and scream. Not because it helps, but because the pain is so total that a standing man will stagger into a cactus or a barbed wire fence and hurt himself worse than the wasp ever could. Howard Evans, one of the great authorities on solitary wasps, once netted about 10 off a flower and reached in barehanded. He got stung, lost every specimen, and ended up in a ditch, crying. He said later he had simply gotten greedy. Number 7 cannot kill you. It only takes away your ability to stand up, out in country where standing up is the whole job. Number 6, the southern yellow jacket. The hole under the deckboard. The gap in the barn siding. The soffit over the porch light. A normal colony runs 4,000 or 5,000 workers and dies every winter. But Texas winters are soft, and Texas A&M's own field guide notes that colonies here survive year after year and keep building. 6 feet across. Multiple queens. They do not lose their stinger like a honeybee. Each one stings as many times as it likes, and they are meanest in August, September, and October, which in Texas is also deer season, and lease cleanup, and get the yard right before the family comes. The entomologist who tracks these giant nests tells homeowners to call a licensed professional. Then he adds the part people skip. Some commercial operators will refuse the job. Number 6 is the one the professionals turn down. Number 5, the asp, Megalopygi opercularis, the southern flannel moth caterpillar. Texas A&M AgriLife calls it one of the most venomous caterpillars in the country, and it looks like a scrap of a toupee. That is the whole trap. An inch long, soft, sitting at hand height on an oak or a pecan or a porch rail, and it does not run. Under the fur are hollow spines wired to venom glands. Brush it, and the pain arrives at once, then travels up the arm into the lymph nodes. The treatment, and this is real, is to press cellophane tape onto your skin and rip the spines back out. In 1923, the U.S. Department of Agriculture published a circular on this caterpillar, reporting thousands of stings in a single season, and a public fear it described as close to hysteria. Dallas and Fort Worth sprayed the street trees with arsenic. San Antonio closed its schools. Galveston closed its schools again in 1951. The advice from AgriLife has not changed in a century. If a caterpillar looks fuzzy, do not touch it. Number 5 is the only insect here that has ever shut down a school district. If you made it this far, you have already broken the agreement. You are looking now. Subscribe, and I will keep showing you what is in the grass. And tell me in the comments which one you have already met, because somebody watching has been stung by number 6 and has been waiting years to talk about it. Number 4, the red imported fire ant. It came into Mobile, Alabama on a cargo ship, reached Texas in the 1950s, and now holds more than 260 million acres. It owns the eastern 2/3 of this state. Here is what stops registering after the 100th sting. A fire ant does not simply sting you. It bites first and locks its jaws in as an anchor, then drives the stinger, pivots, and does it again. And it waits. The colony climbs your boot in silence, and when one of them gives the signal, they all sting in the same instant. That synchronized burn is not luck. It is a decision. Then came August of 2017. Harvey put Houston underwater, and the ants came up out of the ground, linked their bodies together by the 100,000, and floated. Whole colonies, queen and eggs and all, riding the flood in living red rafts until they touched something dry. A fence post, a rescue boat, an oar, a pant leg. Number 4 does not sting you. It waits for the signal, and then 1,000 of them sting you together. Number 3, the southern house mosquito. Not the big striped one that chases you around the barbecue, the quiet gray one. Culex quinquefasciatus breeds in stagnant, filthy water, which means it does not need a swamp. It needs the saucer under a flower pot, a sagging tarp, a clogged gutter. It feeds at night and you rarely feel it. In 2012, Texas had the worst West Nile outbreak in American history. 1,868 cases. 89 people dead. Dallas County declared a public health emergency and sprayed insecticide from airplanes over its own neighborhoods. Now the number that concerns you specifically. The median age of the 89 Texans who died was 79. 71 of them were over 65. More were men than women. Number 3 is not personal. It wants the easiest, warm body in the yard, and the men it kills tend to be men your age. Number 2, the Africanized honeybee. On October 15, 1990, the first wild colony turned up near Hidalgo, Texas. By 2006, the State Apiary Inspection Service had confirmed them in 163 of Texas's 254 counties. Nobody runs a DNA test on a wall full of bees before it happens to them. The venom is no stronger than a regular honeybee's. That was never the danger. The danger is arithmetic. A European hive sends a few defenders. These send everything. They stay angry for hours, and they will follow a man a quarter of a mile. Texas A&M's advice is to run in a straight line and never jump into a pond, because they will hover over the water and wait for you to come up for air. In 2013, a 62-year-old man named Larry Goodwin was on a tractor south of Waco. He took more than 3,000 stings and died in the field. In April of 2025, Stephen Daniel was mowing near an abandoned building in Eastland. He reached his pickup with the bees still on him, crashed into a neighbor's yard, and was still being stung when police opened the door. The officers stopped counting at 200 stingers. He was not allergic. Number 2 is the only insect here that will follow you into your truck. Number 1, the kissing bug. It comes at night. It is drawn to your porch light, flattens itself through a gap in the door, and finds you asleep. Then it bites your face, around the mouth, around the eyes, the thin skin. The bite does not hurt. That is the design. You sleep straight through it. Then it does the part that matters. It defecates beside the wound. The parasite, Trypanosoma cruzi, is not in the bite. It is in the feces. Somewhere before morning, you roll over, you rub your eye, you scratch, and you put it in yourself. Texas A&M has run a kissing bug community science program since 2012, and the public has mailed in thousands of specimens. Roughly 55% carry the parasite. About 1 in 10 came out of the inside of somebody's house. Chagas disease has been reportable in Texas since 2013. In 20 to 30% of infected people, nothing happens. For years. Then the heart begins to fail. Enlarged heart. Arrhythmia. Sudden death. Decades after a bug you never felt bit a face you were sleeping on. Last September, the CDC's own journal published a paper arguing Chagas should now be called endemic to the United States. Other scientists wrote in to disagree, and they have a fair point, because fewer than 100 locally acquired cases have ever been documented here. The experts are arguing about the word while the bug is still on the porch. Number 1 has already been in somebody's bedroom tonight. In the morning, they will not know. There is one more, and it does not get a number because it is not an insect. 8 legs, an arachnid. Rules are rules. The Lone Star tick is named for the white dot on the female's back, not for this state. When it bites you, it can leave behind a sugar molecule called alpha-gal, and your own immune system learns to hunt it. Alpha-gal is in beef, in pork, in venison, in brisket. The reaction comes 3 to 6 hours after the meal, in the middle of the night, long after the plate is in the sink, which is exactly why almost nobody connects it to a tick. The CDC estimates as many as 450,000 Americans may be living with it. No number, it just quietly takes a Texan's steak away and never tells him who did it. Now look at what all 10 have in common. None of them are hidden. The asp is not camouflaged. It is bright and soft, and sitting at eye level over a sidewalk where children walk. The fire ant mound is a foot tall and orange in the middle of a mowed green lawn. The kissing bug crosses a lit porch in the open. The hay is right there in the barn where you stacked it. All of it is in plain sight. We simply decided somewhere along the line that anything that small could not possibly matter, and then we built our whole lives on top of that decision. 788 people, 84% of them men, most standing in their own yards on an ordinary afternoon, doing a chore. The insects are not cruel, and they are not coming for you. They do exactly what they have always done, at exactly the size they have always done it. The only thing that ever changed is that we stopped looking down. It was never really about the fear. It is about the agreement. We all quietly signed it. Nature never did. Subscribe, and I will keep pulling things out from under the leaves. Now go check the hay.